Get your fucking fingers in. What is this shit? It's always this shit.
The casual's a casual gang, cause I'm nobody bringing you the casual gang. The king of the casual's a casual gang. King of the casual's a casual gang. King of the casual's a casual gang, cause ain't nobody bringing you the casual bang.
Alright, King of the Casuals, episode 18. Just watching the weigh-ins here for UFC 264. Listening to DC and Dean and Larasenko go back and forth about Conor McGregor's weight looking a little sucked in, Dustin Poirier being a bigger guy for the weight class. How he made 145 before Beyond Me. It's insane how these guys cut weight and then get it right back. McGregor looked focused. DC earlier was saying that Conor went into the Khabib sort of press conference mentality. Totally disagree with that. Conor's, sometimes had to get himself up, angry, and done some stupid things. I think in the past he punched Nate Diaz in the hand at 196. They threw water bottles and monster cans at 202, which, that's only on every highlight reel you've ever seen. Anyway, McGregor weighed in 156, Poirier weighed in 156, and so here we go. We've got a fight, and a lot of people, a lot of pros seem to be. They're not coming out and saying it because they're all but not willing to commit, because even though they're extremely tough, physical human beings, mentally, they're afraid to. What is it about people afraid to take a stance? Some of them have jobs with the network, so they think they have to play the political game. And maybe if they're calling the fight, then they truly can't give any predictions. I think they're experiencing what I would call fatigue. Conor McGregor, the notorious fatigue. That's not good for the Irish. Being Irish myself, I get it. He can buy and sell everybody in that place 10 times over. And so to him, he's sort of this enigma, like, dude, why don't you just move on with your life and stop taking the attention away from all of us? However, the smart ones know that they have him to thank. And this is a comment I see on mostly on YouTube, because there's a different level of lo-fi on YouTube. Not everybody. I'm not saying everybody is, but quite a few. Sometimes I feel like a lot of anonymous accounts. I feel like I'm talking to a fourth grader or something, so I don't even want to comment back, because it's the last thing I want to do is have some verbal tit for tat about with a kid. It's nonsense. However, the whole reason we came up with the name of this show and called it King of the Casuals is because here we were, four of us. Well, Jack coming up with us being the youngest one, Jack only 19, but we all were doing MMA long before Conor McGregor was a glint in the eye of the man who brought him in. So to those who actually think we're casuals, I kind of, it's a wink and a smile show, because particularly Nate and Jake, both not only coming from backgrounds from MMA, jiu-jitsu, Marines, prison guards, tough dudes who I just happen to be cousins with, related to, and I can't claim to be the same. However, I've been a avid fan and a practitioner, amateur for sure, and it's much smaller weight class. Those two are 265 and 230. I think Nate probably had to get down to light heavyweight. Jake's always going to be heavyweight, and Jack and I are. We walk around I walk around about 160, so 135 to 145 would be where when we train and spar, where I would go, and still in the amateur world to take a beating. But I'm old, but willing to do it. However, does not a casual make, but that's our story. I digress. Anyway, back to the fight and the press conference bullshit that Luke Thomas and his caddy. I don't know why I'm picking on that guy. You know what? I don't mean it. Brian Campbell. If you ever happen to see or hear this, I'm just having fun. Probably a super smart, nice guy. It just occurred to me when I was looking at YouTube. It reminded me of Rush and the band and the people that used to follow them, and the music of the Unlaid. For all I know, you were the quarterback and captain of your football team in high school, and were stealing everybody's girlfriend. It's just fun to imagine when you don't know somebody and you see them come on so certain that Conor McGregor something was amiss or that he was trying too hard to be funny in a press conference, when in fact who gives a flying rat's ass about the fucking press conference? The fans, that's it. The fighters are there to fight. They do not want to do the press conference. On to Stephen-Thompson and Gilbert Burns. This fight to me is the most unpredictable and could go either way, and I won't be shocked if it does. I could easily see Gilbert Burns getting Stephen-Thompson down through a strike, if he can get to him, and submitting him. However, I can easily see Stephen-Thompson basically keeping distance for 5 rounds and winning a decision, or even catching him with one of those spin kicks. That fight, to me, I'm more interested in the Gilbert Burns-Stephen-Thompson fight than I am Conor and Dustin. Not it's almost equal, but because it's so really unclear, in my head anyway, and in Nate, Jake, and Jack's as well. So, should be a good card. Sean O'Malley, again, he gets a lot of, it seems to me there's a envy thing going on with fans and other fighters. Conor McGregor, Sean O'Malley, similar in some ways. They're both huge fan favorites, great fighters, similar fighting styles in some ways. Sean O'Malley, a bit obviously American and a bit more, he's younger and a bit more sort of a hipster, but willing to, have fun with his character and his brand. And people don't like this guy, and I'm like, how do you not like this guy? Everything he does is highlight reel worthy. But there are a lot of little people out there, particularly who watch combat sports. It's like the Napoleon complex. They are living vicariously through these fighters and are connected to them in a way that, to me, has always been bizarre, particularly when you get to certain parts of the world. Like if I were ever to say, I did say Khabib's footwork, I don't know, it was a few years ago, is sloppy. He looks a bit like Frankenstein and he has 2 left feet when he fights. I didn't say he wasn't amazing. It was just what he looks like. Doesn't matter how it looks. If you're getting the job done, you're getting the job done. The guy was undefeated. How could I ever take anything away from it? You would have thought that I had, talked about these guys. It's mostly guys. These guys, sisters or mothers. I didn't. I'm not into that nonsense. And I get attacked, with things that always make me laugh. Words like casual, which I love, because not true. Cracker and honky are 2 of my favorites. I have nothing to respond when I get that other than to say, yeah, I guess. Anyway, so huge main card. Seems to me like everybody's calling it do or die for Conor McGregor. I think, in a sense, not really. The guy's got a great life. He's headed to do, he owns 7 businesses and he's having fun. He still loves to fight. I'm going to guess that if he happens to lose, you'll see him fight again. Not going to retire. Loves the game too much, and clearly he doesn't have to fight, but yet he's showing up. Why? Because he's competitive. It's not the fame. He wants to win, man. And woman, girls and boys. Okay, so that's our weigh-in update. Everybody made weight. The main card. We'll also be doing a podcast today later talking about Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder and their fight being pushed back and the continuing conspiracy, which has to be made a comedy soon. Whether it's true or not, doesn't matter at this point. It's the fact that the time people are spending putting into trying to figure out whether Deontay Wilder's water was tainted by Mark Breland. No. Whether his Tyson Fury's gloves were loaded with egg weights, highly unlikely. And if they were, shame on Deontay Wilder's coach, who was in there checking it. And by the way, the other one, Wilder having his gloves down low, I don't know. You have to be, you really would have to not know a thing about combat sports, particularly boxing, which I have arthritis in both hands from meat hook hands from boxing for so long. If you were to take your hands down in the gloves, the reason they wear gloves is not for the to soften the blow to their opponents. It's to protect their hands. And if Tyson Fury was trying to hit like this, he'd have broken hands and shit. That's ridiculous to think that that it would be an advantage to wear the glove halfway hanging off. Makes no sense. But there are a lot of people who who can't handle it when their horse, so to speak, loses the race, and often like to make it about race. Which in 2021, in a year or 2020 anyway, a year in which we saw real racism and terrible things happen, and police and things that were exposed and not good, to relate that all the way to a heavyweight champion in Deontay Wilder and make it about race when it's a British guy, well, actually Irish-born gypsy, grew up in Britain, and make that the whole, whatever they call it, the Great White Hope. No, not at all. This is a new breed of fighter and a new breed of fighting, where when two guys get in a cage, color matters not. And we do understand, and historically, we are there is such a thing as, I suppose, white privilege. But you show me where it's happening, and I'll do my best to make it fair. I don't think it's right, but I don't think that a guy like Deontay Wilder, who makes millions and millions of dollars and does whatever he pleases, is not getting opportunities because of the color of his skin. That's all.
Cause I'm the king of the casuals, the casual king.
Keep your fucking fingers in. What is this shit? It's always this shit.
The casuals, the casual king. Cause I'm nobody bringing you the casual bang. The king of the casuals, the casual king. The king of the casuals, the casual king. King of the casuals, the casual king. Cause I ain't